Yeah. Oh yeah! Just one. Please be upstanding for Michael White, his worship the Mayor of Glastonbury and the Civil Party.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Tor, could you bring the Unity candle over to the plate? I'm just going to light the Unity candle. If you're able, please be upstanding. Oh, thank you for the silent minute. Thank you, everyone. Well, thank you all for coming. This is the start of the council year, this particular meeting. So, as the retiring mayor, I'd like to say a few words of thanks, and then we'll go into the agenda. So, I'd like to thank this council, first and foremost, for supporting me during the year. I know that many of our votes have been unanimous, and so for me that's a sign of good council, so thank you very much for that. I'd like to thank Zoe in particular, the Deputy Mayor, so we've been a great team, thank you. Thank Clark and all of your staff, rather than name everybody individually, which I hope you don't mind, for turning our decisions into reality. So well done for that. And a huge thanks to the caretaking staff in particular, for quite literally taking care of us. To Danu Forrest, so she's acted as my chaplain. She's just gone over to Ireland for some days and can't be here, but we spoke at Beltane and at the Dragons. So the various people around the edges, the town crier, the drummer, the mace bearers, the paper, who keep all of these things rolling on. It's amazing. And I'd also like to thank the many people in Glastonbury and travellers from afar who have stopped to talk. We've covered dozens of topics over the last period of time. During my mayoral year, I've attended 120 events representing town and community. My two main themes were peace and youth, and so a lot of things have come out of that. So I've worked closely with the schools. Just had a meeting yesterday with Sam Riley, the new principal of Strode College, so that's good. And what was particularly delightful for me, as we sort of round out this mayoral year, was Beltane and the Battle of the Dragons. Those 2 days were splendid. You know, the Friday with the maypole going up to the Fairfield, and then on the Sunday, so the Battle of the Dragons. So really, thanks be to all for that. You know, I've really enjoyed it. A lot of people have come and sort of chatted with me, sitting on the benches, Morrison's car park, all of these different things. So very, very pleased. But yeah, big thanks to everybody. Do you happen to have a little package for me? He says mysteriously. Thank you. So, this is for you, for being splendid deputy. Thank you very much. There's a little card in here as well. Thank you. Very well. It's water fountain, so that's good. You're welcome. So the first item on the agenda is to elect the town mayor for the ensuing year. So, do we have, yes, thank you.
Chair, I'd like to nominate Zoe Price, Councillor Zoe Price, for the position of mayor. Next year, Zoe has been a fantastic councillor since being elected. Very diligent, very efficient, always championing the less fortunate. Very up on the way council works and very keen on keeping things correct. In my opinion, she's been a fantastic deputy mayor for the past 12 months. And I have great privilege in nominating her as our mayor for the next 12 months.
Thank you. Councillor Dick.
Sure. I'm sure your mother will be absolutely loving it. Absolutely. So absolutely. A bit of both, yeah. But also a little cheese. Joy, I would imagine. Big boots to fill, aren't they? Those. You can do it. You can do it. You've got the strength. You've got the strength. All the best you've done.
Thank you. So, should we take a vote on electing Councillor Price as our new mayor?
Sure.
All those in favour? All those against? And then an abstention. Thank you very much indeed. Congratulations.
Please be upstanding for the Civic Party.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you very much, fellow councillors. I am grateful for the trust you have placed in me. I'm deeply honoured to be able to serve my community as an elected representative, as Deputy Mayor, and now as Mayor, as my mother did before me. I would like this coming mayoral year to focus on themes of cooperation, kindness and community. And I'm especially keen to include our children and young people. To that end, I have chosen to support the Sacred Birthing Centre, Mama Village and Children's World as my charities, and I will share more information about how I will do this at further council meetings. As many of you know, my mother, Denise Michelle Denny to her friends, sadly passed in 2020. She was a much loved figure in our community, town councillor, twice green mayor and was Archbishop of Glastonbury. As I also follow this spiritual path, I have asked Danny Forrest, who unfortunately can't be here tonight, to be my mayor's chaplain. I also hope to work closely with our interfaith group. We are a diverse town, and whilst we do not always agree, we can be kind to each other, and we can listen and learn from each other. We may come from different perspectives, but we all share a love for this special place, for our community, and we all have hope for its future. Last month, the Town Council voted to join the Cooperative Councils Innovation Network, and I look forward to supporting this model to become embedded in the work of Glastonbury Town Council over the coming year. We will be holding an information day on the 23rd of June during Cooperative Fortnight. Their theme for this year is Cooperate and we can change the world, and I genuinely believe this to be true. I would like to invite councillors, members of the public, community groups, local organisations and stakeholders to come along and explore ways that we can work together for the good of our town. Following feedback from the community, I acknowledge that Glastonbury Town Council holds important civic responsibilities, and as such, we are accountable to the people who elect us. Therefore, later in this meeting, I will be proposing that we resolve to consider and respond to the items raised at public participation at following meetings of full council or at the relevant committee. It is a huge privilege to be asked to undertake the responsibility of first citizen of Glastonbury, and I promise to continue to serve my community with openness, kindness, respect, and a willingness to collaborate. I am confident in what we can all achieve together. So I'm now going to sign the Declaration of Acceptance of Office, and it says, I, Councillor Zoe Jane Price, having been elected to the office of Mayor of Glastonbury Town Council, declare that I will take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it and serve Glastonbury according to the best of my judgment and ability. Okay, thank you. So, now to item number 4 on our agenda, which is to elect our Deputy Mayor for the ensuing year. And I don't know if we have any proposals. Yes, Councillor Johnson.
Thank you, Worship. I would very much like to nominate Councillor Bandu. I'd like to nominate him because he was an exemplary deputy to myself when I was mayor. Very supporting and a very good chairperson, and will be there for you, I'm sure, as he was there for me. Yes, and I'd very much like to nominate him as the deputy.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Have you got a second for this nomination?
I'm happy to accept this nomination.
Okay, then do you have a second for this nomination?
I'm happy to propose his proposal about the deputy mayorship. He's well known for his own happiness and ability and approachability to the community. And I think
Okay, so No, in which case, let's move to vote. All those in favour of Councillor Bradley becoming Deputy Mayor? Yes. Okay? Yeah.
Well, then you do any against and any abstentions.
2 against and any abstentions?
That's passed by majority, Your Worship.
Yes. Okay, congratulations, Councillor Bradley.
Please be upstanding for the Civic Party. Please be upstanding for the Civic Party.
You want to be seated? just like to invite Councillor around you if you have anything that you'd like to say.
I don't have a speech. I would just like to say thank you to my fellow members of the council for your support and confidence in me as your deputy mayor for the coming year. And also express my willingness and pleasure in being able to support our new mayor, Councillor Zoe Price, for her mayoral year. I don't think she'll need my support, but if she does, you know, she can turn to me. I'm also aware, I suppose, this is our last year as a council before elections in a year's time. But we've been here for 4 years already, amazing how time flies.
Keir Starmer seeing if he's got a job here.
I hope working together, as I said, we can just make the most of the coming year and go into the elections in good shape and good heart for the rest of the public to decide what to do next. Anyway, thank you very much.
Okay, so item number 5 on our agenda is to appoint the naysayers for the ensuing year. I'd like to ask our naysayers, Terry, should we start with you? Are you
Yes, I'm
willing? Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Trisha?
Yeah. Me too.
Marvellous, thank you so much. So, yeah, really well. So I believe now that there is a short break while the civic party goes downstairs and campuses as well. So it'd be lovely to get some new photos on the steps if everybody's willing. Wonderful. And if the members of the public wouldn't mind bearing with us for about maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah. Public staying.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you everyone. Do I need a microphone? No.
You've got one.
I can be much, yeah, I can hear myself, so, yeah. Okay, we're now ready to continue with the rest of our meeting. Thank you. Item number 6, receive apologies for absence and note the reasons given. Have any apologies?
I've had apologies for absence from Councillor Napper, Your Worship, owing to a personal commitment.
Okay, thank you. And then item number 7, declarations of interest. Councillor Cousins.
Thank you, Your Worship, and congratulations on becoming mayor. I have to declare an interest in item 14. I am a trustee of the Glastonbury Mental Health Centre.
Thank you. Any other?
Where's 14?
We will scroll down as we go. Okay, if there are no other declarations of interest, we will continue. So to approve and sign the minutes of the last meeting as a correct record, and I understand there are two sets of meetings minutes.
There are, Your Worship, there is the March minutes and there are the April minutes. So the change to the March minutes, which was requested, was for item, I believe off the top of my head, 254. So the rest of the minutes were agreed. It was a change to item 254. It was circulated in advance of the meeting, and I believe there was consensus that it was now correct, but it's up on the screen should anyone wish to read.
Okay, so our councillors, having already read this, and I've looked at it once, happy to read these as a true record of the March meeting. Aye. Thank you. So do I need to do this bit now?
Yes, if you could sign, actually to save time, Your Worship, because I do actually have to print out a separate copy to be signed that's not stapled.
Yeah.
The council have agreed that this set of minutes can be signed.
Yeah.
If next time you're in the office we could sign a copy for the minute book, that would be appreciated. So don't waste your time signing that copy. It's not the correct copy to sign.
Right,
but we will print you a copy. And then the April minutes, again circulated in advance, but they are on the screen.
So starting on page 65, councillors, hopefully you all have a chance to have a look. And then page 66.
I personally don't believe that is a true record of the voting, what happened at the vote. I was there. I wasn't part of the council, but I just want to say that.
All right, thank you very much, Lynn. We don't necessarily take suggestions from the members of the public. And I think what we need to do is get the councillors to agree whether this is a true record as they record it from the meeting. But if you like, you and I can have a conversation afterwards about which bit. Okay, well I can.
But at another time I will be ready.
Okay, so councillors, that was page 66, and if you go to page 67. Page 68. Oh, sorry, Councillor.
Yes, so it's just coming up now, point 5 of the property and assets. It's about the 3 hours free parking. Now I remember that we proposed this, and I don't remember that it was going to need to be recommended, but I was wondering that as this is in the minutes, and it does need, whether that we have any information as to what is happening about the blue badge holders having the 3 hours free parking that they have at other car parks.
Yeah, so what I need to do, Councillor I need to have all the signage changed in the car park because it was, I can't remember the date, but the Town Council Property and Assets Committee agreed that it would be 1 hour.
No, we agreed
free,
3 hours.
yeah, at that meeting, but a previous meeting, the Property and Assets Committee had agreed that it would be 1 hour for free. So that is what the signs in the car park say. I need to have the enforcement company come out and replace all the signs. At that point, it will be a 3 hour free period for those with blue badges, and I have passed that information on to the enforcement company. I'm waiting for the signs.
Do you have any idea when that will happen?
No, I don't have a date. If I gave you a date now, that would just be me putting my finger in the air. But
Okay,
I have told them that that was our decision and they need to send us new signs.
wonderful, thank you.
I wonder if we haven't heard by the end of next week, perhaps we could.
I do chase them regularly because I'm in contact with them about other things as well.
Right, okay, thank you. Okay, so, see.
Thank you, Joe. I was just wondering, so in the meantime, would it be possible to stick a 3 on top of the 1? Yeah.
So the only, well, yes, it would be, but then the enforcement company still have to have the car park, they term it re-audited. It has to be checked to comply with all the legislation, and until such a time that that has been done, it still wouldn't be, enforceable now that we're in the contract. So as soon as they send the signs and they inform the company that they need to check it with, that the signs have been changed and it's all signed off, then it will all be fine. But I do regularly chase them, and I told them that that was our decision. And it's a shame we have to change all the signs so soon after putting them up, but that's what we're going to do.
Taking a bit of time, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I agree with Harrison that it would be great if we could get the signs changed. I know these things take time. My feeling is that it looks really bad on us, the fact that disabled people having to pay for parking when they wouldn't normally. I think we should contact the enforcement company and say, look, this town council hereby wants you to effectively know, that's the right word, any of the fines.
There haven't been any fines, Councillor Manning.
Well, these will relate to these spaces. They just put a temporary sign up there, just saying 3 hours free. You know, I'm certain you're just going to do a paper, a line, stick it up there as a temporary measure, so at least we've got something. Because I can see this just dragging on.
Yeah.
I think what
I can assure you all I am chasing it and it will be done as soon as possible. I hope to have a positive update for your next meeting.
okay, yes, thank you. All right, so we are on page 69, are we?
Yep.
On page 70. On page 71. Councillors, are we happy to agree that this is a true record of our last meeting? Thank you. Okay, so item number 9, to receive an update on actions from the last meeting. Please update us.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. So the minutes of the March Full Council meeting have been agreed tonight. The organisers of Glastonbury Pride were informed of the decision to alter the terms of their grant award. We are in the process of joining the Cooperative Councils Innovation Network. I believe we are waiting for the committee behind that network to have a meeting to agree our membership, but that has been submitted and is in process. And the information regarding the Living Brew Day and the decision regarding St Dunstan's Cottage, that information was shared as well.
Thank you very much. And item number 10, to consider the terms of reference for and appoint members to committees, subcommittees and advisory committees. And I understand some work's been done around this prior to the meeting.
It has, thank you, Your Worship. What I will take the liberty of doing first is explaining the limited changes to a few sets of terms of reference. The rest are unchanged. So that's just to make all councillors aware who are signing up to a committee, what has changed. So after the March meeting, it was agreed that the Climate and Ecological Emergency Advisory Committee would take on the responsibility of investigating any relevant landscape protection designations as an outcome from the March meeting. So that is the only change to the Climate and Ecological Emergency Advisory Committee terms of reference. The next change, finance and general purposes, the change to this set of terms of reference is it's going to have an additional meeting. So it's going to change from meeting twice a year to meeting 3 times a year. So it will now meet in July, September and December. And the September meeting shall only be to consider the budget, with grants still being awarded in July and December. That's the change for finance and general purposes. Services, Youth Provision and Operations Committee. The change to this terms of reference is that, again, as an outcome from the March meeting, it will consider the Glastonbury Information Centre and matters relating to local tourism, such as visitor profiling and management. That was an outcome from the March meeting. And also I have added in there, because it is an operation of the Town Council, we are in the process of putting together a grass cutting strategy, seems a bit grand, a grass cutting plan, and that will fall under the Services Committee to monitor as well. Those are the changes to terms of references. Oh, I do apologise, there's one more. Town Centre crime reduction. It kind of covered antisocial behaviour anyway, but I've made it explicit in the terms of reference, again as an outcome from the March meeting, that this advisory committee is to consider antisocial behaviour as a topic as well. So they, finally, are the changes to the terms of reference. Now, for committees, now we have gone to councillors in advance of this meeting to understand which committees you would each like to be part of. So what I'm going to do, I think it's best, Your Worship, you may wish to if you like, but it's hard for you to see the screen.
Yeah.
If I took each councillor in turn and checked that there's no additional committees or fewer committees they wish to be on, and then we can move to accept the terms of references, I hope, and the committee membership that we have at the moment. Only Councillor Napper outstanding because of his personal commitment.
Okay, that would be really helpful.
I do see Councillor Smith as well.
Just clarifying with the clerk, the grass cutting plan, does that include leading priorities and plan for the town as well?
It absolutely could. Councillor Smythe, if you wish to propose an amendment to that terms of reference to add in, that's fine, we can certainly do that.
Councillor Cousins?
I would second that amendment proposal to add reading to the.
Thank you. And do you wish to speak against that proposal to amend the terms of reference to include reading?
Yep.
Sorry, let me just see that. Finance and general purpose, amendment there.
Yeah.
Vote,
So, yeah, move vote then. All those in favour?
Adding reading to that.
Councillor March, are you? Okay, so that's, have you got?
Yeah, so
Okay,
then if you ask for any against,
Any against?
any
Any
abstentions?
abstentions? No, that's it then. So that is
Was that-
carried.
Yeah, was that a majority or unanimous? I couldn't see
I think
everyone's
that's a
hands.
majority, is it?
I don't know there wasn't that, I don't know if that can.
Do we need to do a revote?
We'll just do any abstentions or
Any
against.
abstentions from, or any against? So that must have been unanimous.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Right, so if I take each councillor in turn, Your Worship, if I may.
Yes, please.
So I currently have Councillor Cook, who wish to be on the Property Assets Committee and the Planning Committee. Any additional or fewer committees you wish to be part of?
Finance and general.
I don't know what colour that is, but I'll add you to that. Fine. Councillor Cousins, I have you down to wish to serve on the Property and Assets, Finance and General Purposes, Services, Youth Provision and Operations Committee, Arts, Culture and Events, Resilience and Staffing Committee.
Your Worship, may I ask you through the clerk, are there any committees that are in danger of not being quorate?
The only committee, so off the top of my head and scrolling, Glastonbury and Bloom is the one that has the fewest members. However, there are, because that is a committee that considers matters relating to tourism, being the floral displays, there are also public members of that committee. So it's not that all three of those councillors have to turn up every single time, but that is a committee that has low councillor numbers.
I will happily be happy, I think, to be part of Glastonbury.
Okay.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, okay, going around.
We're going round, yeah.
Okay. So, Councillor Don Francesco, I have you down as wishing to serve on Services, Youth Provisions and Operations and the Resilience Committees. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm sure there's more than that there.
Okay. Of the other committees, which ones are interesting to you? Property and Assets, Finance and General Purposes, Planning, Glastonbury and Bloom, Arts, Culture and Events, Frost Fair, which I forgot to read out in my first thing, I think, Resilience, Staffing. So you've only...
That's what I am on. Okay,
So
sorry.
it's, there's more committees go if you've been there.
Right, we'll come back to those because they're advisory committees. These ones up here make decisions.
Thank you very much.
Right, so you're happy with that at the moment?
Yes, thank you. Very good. Okay, who's next?
Councillor Henderson, I have you down as wishing to serve on the Property and Assets Committee, Finance and General Purposes Committee, and Planning.
Perfect.
Excellent. You are happy.
Thank you.
Councillor King, I have you down to wishing to serve on Finance and General Purposes and Services, Youth Provision and Operations.
Resilience.
I do apologise, absolutely, and Resilience.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Councillor Lokabandu, I have you down wishing to serve Property and Assets, Finance and General Purposes, Planning, Arts, Culture and Events and Staffing.
Perfect.
Councillor McDougall, I have you down wishing to serve on Finance and General Purposes, Planning, Services, Youth Provision and Operations and Resilience.
Yes.
Councillor Manning, Property and Assets, Finance and General Purposes, Planning, Services, Youth Provision and Operations and Frost Fair. Councillor Much, Glastonbury and Bloom.
They should be on planning as well.
Excellent, we can add you to that.
We don't have the crime group on.
That's on the next page, that's an advisory committee, we will get to that. Councillor Napper, we'll sort that out after the meeting because of his personal commitment. Councillor Oakden, Property and Assets, Glastonbury and Bloom, Services, Youth Provision Operations, Arts, Culture and Events, Frost Fair and Staffing. Councillor Osborne, Finance and General Purposes, Arts, Culture and Events and Staffing. Councillor Price, Your Worship, I have you down for Property and Assets, Finance and General Purposes, Services, Youth Provision and Operations, Arts, Culture and Events, Frost Fair and Staffing. You're on Staffing by the terms of reference.
Yep.
Excellent. Councillor Ronnie Dougal, Property and Assets, Finance and General Purposes, Planning, Services, Youth Provision and Operations. Councillor Smythe, Property and Assets, Finance and General Purposes, Planning, Services, Youth Provision and Operations, Arts, Culture and Events, Frost Fair, Resilience and Staffing.
Yeah, I'm happy to step down from planning, staffing.
Okay. No. Councillor White, Property and Assets, Finance and General Purposes, Glastonbury and Bloom, Services, Youth Provision and Operations, Frost Fair, Resilience, and you're on Staffing by the terms of reference.
Correct, thank you.
Excellent. If you give me just a second, if you may. So, Councillor Lokabandu is on Staffing by virtue of the terms of reference. Councillor Price is on by virtue of the terms of reference, and so is Councillor White. So that means there are 3 councillors wishing to stand in addition for the staffing committee when there are 2 additional spaces on that committee. The staffing committee is the only committee where we have a limit of membership on there. So what I'm happy to do, Your Worship, I have named voting cards, and we can do it by ballot for each councillor to vote for 2 councillors to stand on that committee, or you may wish to ask if there are any councillors who wish to not be putting themselves forward for the staffing committee. But if all 3 would like to, I've got little slips that everyone can fill in.
Okay, so Councillor Thompson put his hand up. Is that relating to this, or?
Very, very sorry. It's just a question that I got to feel that Her Worship the Mayor is de facto member of all committees if she so wishes.
Yeah, so an ex officio member, which means, so for every committee that Councillor Price is elected to be on, Councillor Price has a vote. For every other committee, Councillor Price can go but doesn't have a vote.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that. Okay, so to return to staffing committee, so we have 3 councillors who put their names forward. I'm wondering if any of those councillors, I'm sorry, I've got this Councillor Osborne, Councillor Oakden,
And Councillor Cousins.
Cousins. Are there any of the councillors who would at this point like to stand down, or should we proceed to? Okay, let's proceed to a vote.
Excellent.
A ballot.
Yeah, if you just give me a second.
So just for clarification, each councillor will get
2.
2 slips of paper, and they have to put a
2.
name on each.
Yep.
2 councillors out of 3.
Okay.
Is that clear?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Councillor Osborne, Councillor Cousins, and Councillor Oakden have put themselves forward.
They're all men, so unfortunately I haven't put them in the right order of you sitting around the table. So I've made a bit more work for myself. Well, that one worked out. There you go. Good choice of seat, mate. So each slip of paper has your name on it, so that I can verify that the councillors have voted and haven't slipped in an extra bit of paper. On each slip of paper, you have to put a name. Councillor Knuckles not here. And in case no one picked up what Councillor Family said earlier, you can vote for yourself.
Thanks so much. I'd just like to ensure that you have a bit clear what I said. You know what we're doing. Yes? So I know sometimes
You're right.
Not at all, not at all. Not quite, I'm nearly there. And then what I'll do, if you can just fold them, hold them up in the air, well, if you just don't care. When you're done, I'm sure you do care, then I'll come round and collect them. So every councillor has had 2 little slips of paper.
have all councillors completed their slips, please? Thank you. All right, are those all of the slips in?
No, not quite.
No.
I've got most of them. We'll get the rest from
Yeah, I've got them.
all of them. Right, okay. So I need a.
I think Councillor Osborne's completed hers, and I think it's just Councillor Napper. Thank you. Okay, have all councillors had a bit of paper from that? Okay. Are we having the count now?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, so it's just...
Don't do that, just hand them to me.
How are we doing? Not quite ready.
Okay, so Councillor Cousins and Councillor Oakton have been elected to serve on the staffing committee. Councillor Oakton received 15 votes, Councillor Cousins 11, Councillor Osborne 4 votes. So it's Councillor Cousins and Councillor Oakton.
Thank you, councillors, for taking consequences that are on the yourselves. Okay, so is that, does that complete?
Not quite yet, Your Worship, because we now need to go and do the other page, which people are very keen.
Okay, thank you. Right, more committees.
Okay, so on this page we have, Town Centre Crime Reduction Advisory Committee, Neighbourhood Plan Advisory Committee, Climate and Ecological Emergency Advisory Committee. So what might be, I suppose we should just go through it in the same way, Your Worship, if you wish to. Councillor Cook, you don't wish to serve on any of those? Okay. Councillor Cousins, I have you down for Town Centre Crime Reduction and Neighbourhood Plan.
Thank you.
Councillor Don Francesco, Town Centre Crime Reduction and Neighbourhood Plan.
Correct.
Councillor Henderson, Town Centre Crime Reduction.
Thank you.
Councillor King, all three, Town Centre Crime Reduction, Neighbourhood Plan and Climate and Ecological Emergency.
Yes, one always meets on Wednesday, in which case I won't be able to attend them.
I don't think any of the advisory committees have set days of the week that they meet on. Councillor Lokabandu, I have you down for Town Centre Crime Reduction and Neighbourhood Plan. Councillor McDougall, Climate and Ecological Emergency. Councillor Manning, Town Centre Crime Reduction and Neighbourhood Plan. Councillor Much, Town Centre Crime Reduction.
Yeah, I don't mind being on climate and ecological emergency as well.
Would you like to?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Emojis, we don't want those. Yes.
Give it the dog emoji.
For Jack, yes. Councillor Napper, I will sort that out after this meeting and bring out an update for full council at your next meeting. Councillor Oakden, I have you down for Town Centre Crime Reduction and Neighbourhood Plan. Excellent. Councillor Osborne, not interested in serving on any of those. Okie dokie. Councillor Price, Town Centre Crime Reduction and Neighbourhood Plan. Councillor Ronnie Dougal, Neighbourhood Plan and Climate and Ecological Emergency.
Yes, and in answer to Emma, the climate and ecological emergency is always the last Thursday of the month. So it does have a specific, and it's every other month.
Okay.
It's bi-monthly.
But you'd be pleased to hear, Councillor King, it's not a Wednesday. Councillor Smythe, not interested in serving on any of those.
Not exactly true.
Okay, I apologise, that's what I have on the sheet. You'd like to go on both of those? Excellent. And Councillor White wish to serve on all three of those.
I don't actually.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
Do you want to serve on any of them?
No, thank you.
Oh, I see, right.
I was on the crime reduction one for a couple of times, but I thought I'd step down on that. And I wasn't on the other two.
Okay, what I'm just going to check. So we have 9 councillors wishing to sit on Town Centre Crime Reduction, and there are 8 spots for councillors. I don't really want to go hand you out 8 little slips of paper each. It took long enough handing you out 2.
So who are the councillors on that?
So the councillors who wish to serve on that are Councillor Cousins, Councillor Don Francesco, Councillor Henderson, Councillor King, Councillor Kabandu, Councillor Manning, Councillor Much, Councillor Oakden, and yourself, Councillor Price.
Okay, are there any of those councillors that would like to step down and being on that committee?
I can count 8.
You can count 8?
Can you? So I can count Councillor Cousins.
If I can step them down.
8, 9.
6, 7, 8.
Yeah, there's 9 on the man.
Councillor Cousins.
Your Worship, I know this is not me talking about myself, but you, of course, do not have to chair that meeting and perhaps could go there in your ex officio capacity, which would mean that there were 8 councillors who could vote and you could witness that. But of course, you might not wish to do that.
Okay, thank you. So can we just clarify how many, did we just clarify that we are still? There are 9.
Yeah,
okay. Well, I would be happy to do that if all of the councillors would like to be on that working group. I'm happy to go along just as ex officio.
Yep.
Yeah?
Okay.
Okay. And then everybody wants to go from there.
Yeah.
Thank you very much to all the councillors that are putting their time and their energy for these.
I think there's another page.
There's another page.
We're a very busy council, Your Worship.
Yeah.
So this last page is our working groups. So these are groups of councillors who can also invite members of the public to consider a specific, normally quite a narrow topic in greater detail. So we have play parks, which is a play park development and improvement, the roadside dwelling working group, the town management and visitor assessment working group, which sits under the services committee, and the third party markets working group. So there aren't any limits to any of these, so we won't have to go through and ask anyone if they doesn't wish to serve. May I go through councillor by councillor and check that they are on the right working groups that they wish to be on?
Point of clarity, I appreciate that these are working groups, which means that members of the public can attend, but is there any danger that markets could be not for it?
So a quorum doesn't apply to a working group, and there are members of the community who are part of that third party markets working group as well. A working group can be from 2 people upwards.
Okay, so we started, we might as well finish. Do you want to?
Okay, Councillor Cook, you wish to serve on the Play Park Development Working Group?
On second thoughts, actually no.
Okay.
Because we've more or less covered that in the other grouping.
Okay, Councillor Cousins, you wish to serve on Play Park Development, Roadside Dwellers, Town Management, Visitor Assessment.
Thank you, yes.
Councillor Don Francesco, you wish to serve on the Roadside Dwellers and Town Management Visitor Assessment Working Groups.
Correct.
Councillor Henderson, you wish to serve on the Roadside Dwellers Working Group.
Yep.
Councillor King, you wish to serve on the Roadside Dwellers Working Group and Town Management Visitor Assessment Working Group.
Yeah.
Councillor Lukabandu, you wish to serve on the Roadside Dwellers and Town Management Visitor Assessment Working Groups.
Yes, I'd be happy to be added to the play parks as well.
Okay. Councillor McDougall, you wish to serve on the Roadside Dwellers Working Group and the Town Management Visitor Assessment Working Group.
Yes.
Councillor Manning, you wish to serve on the Roadside Dwellers, Town Management Visitor Assessment and Third Party Markets Working Group.
Yes, but again, I'd like to want to play parks.
Okie dokie. Councillor Much, you haven't expressed an interest in serving on any of these, is that correct? Okay, thank you. Councillor Napper, I will ask after this meeting. Councillor Oakton, you wish to serve on the Roadside Dwellers and Town Management Visitor Assessment Working Groups. Excellent, thank you. Councillor Osborne, you wish to stand on the same Roadside Dwellers and Town Management Visitor Assessment Working Groups. Councillor Price, you wish to serve on the Play Park Development and Roadside Dwellers Working Group. Councillor Ronnie Dougal, Town Management Visitor Assessment and the Third Party Markets Working Group.
Yeah.
Councillor Smythe, you wish to serve on the Roadside Dwellers and Town Management Visitor Assessment Working Groups.
Yes.
And Councillor White, you wish to serve on the Roadside Dwellers Working Group.
Yes.
Okay.
Just one question. What's the minimum for your play park?
It's a working group, Councillor Cook. So
It can be anywhere from 2 people upwards. There's no quorum for a working group because it's just an informal group of people that make a recommendation back to a committee or full council.
Thank you.
So if I may, Your Worship, to tidy all of this up, if I could have a proposal, I'm happy to take it all in one, that we accept the changes to the terms of reference to the 4 committees / advisory committees that I went over, and that we accept the membership of the committees, advisory committees and working groups. If I could have a proposer and a seconder and a vote for that, I'd be very appreciative.
okay, so did you want to speak?
Can I say just one thing? Markets is quite an important part of this town, and so that's quite contentious. It does feel a bit underrepresented, but there's only 2 of us who want to be on that working group, recommending markets and accepting proposals and so on. So I just wondered if anyone wants to join at this last minute.
I would like to join, but I may have declaration of interest as my daughter runs one of the markets, so I don't know where I stand with that.
Well, I should imagine as long as you declare that as an interest.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes, if you declared that as an interest at that item and potentially considered abstaining or leaving the room, I probably need to have a discussion with you about it, then yes, you could serve on that working group.
Okay, great, thank you. Would you like to be added?
Yes, please.
I'd like to be added.
Thank you very much.
Councillor Cousins got his hand up.
Point of order, Your Worship, just to remind councillors, unless they have special dispensation, that they should always stand when addressing you.
Thank you, Councillor Cousins. That is indeed in our standing orders. So, I believe that the clerk is looking for a proposal and a seconder.
You've got some hands up, Your Worship.
Councillor Dougal has her hand up really quickly.
I'm happy to propose.
And thank you. And Councillor White then also.
Thank you. I'd have a second.
Thank you. Anybody wish to speak against?
Could I just check, Your Worship, because I didn't say it in advance, I do apologise, that we reaffirm the terms of reference for committees that remain unchanged as well as part of that. So we do it all in one go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
okay.
you.
So, nobody has said that they wish to speak against, so let's move to vote. All those in favour, please. And I believe that is unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, just to say once again, Francis, thank you so much for your time and your energy, because that's quite a long list of work that we get up to. Okay, so item number 11, to appoint representatives to outside bodies.
Thank you, Your Worship. So We have a short list of outside bodies that we appoint to at the moment. If you humour me for just a second before you may wish to ask your deputy to add to what I'm going to say, if I can get a piece of paper. So our short list of outside bodies at the moment, we will need to make appoint a representative of the Town Council to the Glastonbury Town Deal Board. The Austin Memorial Homes Charity, we need 4 members for that. The Glastonbury and Sharkham Joint Burial Committee, we need 7 members for that. The Avalon and Poldens Local Community Network, we need 1 member. And Fair Trade, we also need 1 member. So that is our short list at the moment. But I believe Councillor Lokabandu, as well as perhaps hands around the table, had an update.
Thanks, Helen.
Just a point of clarity and a point of order. Clarity is that we always have a representative as a member of the Glastonbury People's Trust, and that I must declare that I am trustee and chair of the Glastonbury People's Trust at the moment. That traditionally and historically, within the trust documents, is always the mayor of the day.
So I would be happy to be a representative.
Okay. Well, if I add that to the list, we can have a proposer and a seconder. That wasn't on our list for last year, but that's fine.
Okay. So, yeah, remembering. So, Councillor Lokabandu would like to tell us about a project that he's going to undertake.
Yes, so in her second speech, Councillor Price reminded us we are applying to join the community cooperative network. And we had a meeting yesterday, I think it was, to explore what that might mean in practice and how we could do it. And the key part of the whole thing is developing better relationships and better processes for consulting our community about relevant matters. And I think we'd all agree a couple of things have happened in the past year where we were shown in retrospect that we hadn't consulted our community as well as we could have, and there are consequences. So there's definitely a resolution to consult better going forwards. But the question is how? It felt to me, we discussed it yesterday, that this system of having representatives to outside groups is quite a powerful and flexible way of building relationships with other bodies in the community and therefore consulting them. So for instance, something might come up, everything from budgeting to World Heritage to play parks, and we would just ask the relevant representatives to consult. And we make sure there's enough time for them to go out and consult and feed the consultation back into the issue at hand. So the present short list doesn't really do justice to the spectrum of groups and community enterprises and so on around the town. What we would like to do is survey what are the groups and institutions around the town, but just boil them down into a manageable number and try and find individuals amongst us who'd be happy to be a link to that group and that group and that group. A couple of examples come to my mind are U3A, important thing, University of the Third Age. Another one is the Forget-Me-Not Club. Another one would be the Women's Institute. You know, I don't know much about all these, but there they all are. They should be consulted about many things. So what we would like to do is bring this list back at a certain point when we're ready and just see how we could develop those links. So we'll proceed as planned today, but this is not the end of this particular matter.
Thank you.
Your
Yes,
Worship,
Councillor.
could I just point out, I think you mentioned 4 representatives on the Austin Memorial Homes. In fact, we've been operating with 2 representatives because it's a very small committee and doesn't really require 4 councillors.
Okay, so you would prefer to have 2 nominees, and I take it that's in line with your charity's governing document. Excellent. Okay, I stand corrected. 2 representatives to the Austin Memorial Homes charity, please.
Okay, so Councillor Cook had his hand up. Would you like to speak?
Yeah, just a question about this group you're talking about. When these several people go out and consult, are they doing this free of charge? Or we as a council paying?
Well, we're going to do it.
So we're going to do it.
I think
That's going to be us. So,
yeah.
so what might What's the necessity for it? I don't understand. We're perfectly able to communicate without global assault.
Councillor Cook, I think perhaps what we'll do is tonight we will appoint to the outside bodies that we already have, and at a later stage, Councillor Lockbandy will come back to this council and explain what he is suggesting and what those bodies might be, and then councillors can decide whether they would like to be appointed to those outside bodies or not. Is that okay?
That sounds better.
Okay. All right, Councillor Cousins, have your hand up?
Just a point of order, as it's been mentioned, I am the president of the forget-me-not.
Thank you. Councillor Snides.
Thank you very much. Just so it doesn't get lost in the long grass, could we have a date, a suggested meeting when we revisit this? If it's not the next one, perhaps it'll be the one after that.
I should imagine that Councillor Lockbandy will need a bit of time to actually compile a list. I know that there was a list a long time ago, but I think if we can make sure that that remains as an action from this meeting, then we will make sure it comes back. Thank you, Councillor. Okay, so we are appointing representatives to outside bodies. I wonder if people need to see them up on the board.
I've only got an old set of minutes. If I could, the
okay.
first representative we need to have a nomination for is the Glastonbury Town Hall board, please.
So, Councillor White, have your hand up.
Thank you. So I'm the vice chair of the Town Hall board. It would make good sense if I once again became the representative of the Glastonbury Town Council. So as mayor, you get a seat on that board. So Councillor Price also has a sort of slight complication of interest. And so what could happen is I could be the vice chair, so that's determined by the Town Hall board. I could be the representative for this body, and Councillor Lockbandy, who has just sat on the Town Hall board, could be your representative, if that sort of works out okay.
Thank you, Councillor White. Yes, I'm happy, and I would appreciate if Councillor Lockbandy could sit on that committee, the board, for me, on my behalf, because the meetings are generally during the day when I work. Is that okay?
Okay, right. So that's fine. So what the proposal is that actually we advise Somerset Council, who run the Town Hall board, that actually this year the mayor is not able to take a seat. So we wish for Councillors White and Councillors Locobandu to remain the members of the Town Hall board.
That's okay.
Yeah, if that would like to be a proposal. Yeah.
Yes.
Councillor White proposing.
Anybody wish to speak against? Oh, Councillor.
Well, just for clarity, the town councillors who are members of the Town Hall board, are they able to vote?
Yes, they are. It's not a declarable pecuniary interest.
That's fine.
In that proposal, could we just mention that Councillor Lockbandy is the deputy mayor, so it's in effect deputising for the mayor.
Yes, of course.
Thank you for that clarification again. Okay, all those in favour? Okay, and anybody against? One against, and anybody abstaining? One abstention.
Can I pass my majority, Your Worship?
Okay, thank you very much. And the next outside
is Auster Memorial Homes charity. We are looking for 2 representatives, please, Your Worship.
Councillor White has his hand up.
Thank you. I'm already a member of the Austin Memorial Trust, so I'm happy to stay on that if nobody else wants to.
Who are represented at the moment?
So we have the 4 that I have from our previous minutes are yourself, Councillor Henderson, the late Councillor Cottle, Councillor Price and Councillor White. I believe it's Councillor White and Price who've been able to attend the meetings.
Yeah.
So just if they're happy to carry on, then you better live.
I think that sometimes the meetings happen when I'm at work, so I haven't been able to get to all of them. If there is another councillor who would like to sit on that.
Well, I'm quite happy to do
Are you happy to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Councillor Henderson says that he's happy.
Okie dokie. So do I have a proposer and a seconder for Councillors White and Councillors Henderson to be the representatives to Austin Memorial Homes then? Councillor Oakton, propose that. Thank you.
Councillor Deagle, thank you. Anybody wish to speak against? All those in favour? And all those against? And all those abstaining? We've got one abstention, everybody else for.
Unanimous with one abstention, thank you. The next outside, strange, it's not really an outside body, but it's half an outside body. It's the Glastonbury and Sharkham Joint Burial Committee. We need 7 members to sit on this, please.
That's one question. How often do they meet, please?
It's not very often, I believe, maximum 4 times a year, but they've met less frequently than that in the past. 3 or 4 is where I would guess that joint the number of times that joint committee meets.
Thank you, yeah, because I was on the committee my first year, but there was,
It didn't meet.
It didn't meet.
Okay, Councillor Henderson?
Sure. I believe I'm already on that. So body, and I'm quite happy to stay on it.
Okay, yeah, so the members I currently have or that have come across, so Councillor White, Councillor Cousins, the late Councillor Cottle, who we will have to replace on that committee, Councillor Manning, Councillor Price, Councillor Henderson, Councillor Lokabandu. So if everyone wishes to reserve, we only have to fill 1 space. If there wish to be any changes, we need to make sure there are 7 representatives to that joint committee.
So do any of those councillors who've been named wish to step down? No, that looks like everybody's have to stay on. So we're looking for 1 more councillor, please, in order to ensure that that work can continue. Thank you, Councillor Don Francesco.
Thank you very much. So if I could have a proposer and a seconder that Councillors White, Cousins, Don Francesco, Manning, Price, Henderson and Lokabandu are the representatives to the Glastonbury and Sharkham Joint Burial Committee, and a seconder and a vote, that would be great, thank you.
Councillor Match is proposed, Councillor Boudou on the second, and anybody wish to speak against? Okay, all those in favour? That is unanimous.
Excellent, thank you. We need a representative, please, to the Avalon and Holdings Local Community Network. At present, that is Councillor McDougall.
Councillor
Your Worship, I'm on the Step Right and Thrive group. It is a subgroup of that LCN, and I'm happy to attend that, but I don't know whether Councillor McDougall is happy to continue being the LCN rep. If not, I'm happy to do that role.
Councillor Boudou? Oh, sorry, Councillor McDougall, yes, sorry.
So we only have a significant thing there is highways, so I haven't attended many of their meetings, so I'm happy if somebody else wants to do it, but I can continue if not.
So, we only need 1 councillor?
We've only ever been asked for 1 representative, but that doesn't mean that other councillors can't attend meetings. I think they like, as a local community network, to have a named councillor representative, but the meetings are open to any councillor.
So we could have 2 councillors that go along to those meetings, as long as one of you is named. So, Councillor.
Thank you, Chair. So you jump in that. John mentioned Step Right and Thrive, which I believe I volunteered for this time last year. I had 1 email from them about anything which I couldn't attend, and I don't think I've had anything since. So
right.
I don't know whether John's not in there by default or whatever. I mean, I'm quite happy to go along. I was quite interested at the time, but I kind of forgot.
So when I turned up, not representing Glastonbury Town Council, but it's a town, I was a councillor, they said, "So you're the councillor who's supposed to be here?" And I said, "I don't think so." And unfortunately, the LCN didn't know which councillor was supposed to be there either. So thank you for clearing up that mystery.
That's why I look at the emails.
Okay. Yeah, Councillor Cameron.
Thank you, Worship. Councillors, so I attend all of the LCN meetings, and the Step Right and Thrive has developed to the health cluster, and Jack Cross and I have put together the new terms of reference for that, and that is going to be now looking at more of the health needs for the whole of our community, similar to the working group that we just had down at the college just the other day. There is a there's a report that's due out in June about whether LCNs are going to continue or not. And I think it's in draft already. I can't tell you what's in it, but it will either go the way, I was about to say the fairies, but that's inappropriate, or whether it continues and in what guise it is. but it is part of that empowerment and localised agenda, which I don't foresee going away. So if any of the councillors, as we do a sort of in-between time, I will always be attending in between time until we get that reporting in June if that's successful.
Thank you, Councillor Mac.
So it seems like I'm not really required to put my name down because if you're attending.
I wonder if we should have representatives of Glastonbury Town Council just in the meantime until we know what is definitely happening.
Yeah, I can do that.
You'd be happy to do
I'll
that?
get in.
Okay, thank you. So,
Your Worship, I'm happy to defer to Councillor Henson if he wishes to continue to attend Step Right and Thrive. Charlotte Griffin is the officer you need to get in touch with.
I'll be in touch with you.
okay. So, what do we need? We
need a representative to the Avalon and Poldens local community network, please.
So we need a proposer, please. Councillor White has proposed. Councillor Henderson has seconded. Anybody wish to speak against? All those in favour? That is unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you. And we normally make a representative to the local arm of Fair Trade as a fair trade town. And again, in the past, that has been Councillor McDougall.
Councillor McDougall, are you happy to continue? Yes. Is anybody else want to? So can we have a proposer, please? Councillor Cousins has proposed. Councillor Band has second. Anybody wish to speak against? Okay, we need to vote. All those in favour? Thank you, that is unanimous. Okay, and not.
I've not got any from our previous list, and I take it, Councillor Henderson, are you going to try and make contact again with Stepwise Drive? That's fine, cool.
That's fine.
Your Worship, myself and Councillor Cousins are on the Action Brew Drainage Board, and I just wondered whether that's still a requirement.
We didn't appoint to the Axon Brew Drainage Board last year, and I'll be honest, I've never been in contact with the Axon Brew Drainage Board. I can check that after this meeting, and we can make that representative if it's required at a future meeting, because I don't know the answer.
I think it's very helpful that you both attend, so if you are going to continue to attend those meetings, that's and report back, thank you, and we'll find out whether that is the official appointment. Okay. Anything else on that item?
None on my shortlist from last year, Your Worship.
Okay, if everybody's happy to move
Oh,
on.
sorry, Your Worship.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, so Councillor Cousins referenced the Glastonbury People's Trust, but also mentioned that it is normally yourself in your role as mayor. So, again, I can check if the charity would like us to make a formal decision, or whether it's just because you are mayor. Councillor Cousins might have an answer that you are a member, and then you can just make whichever meetings you may be able
According
to.
to the constitution of the trust, the mayor is ex officio as part of the form of the trust anyway. So you will be receiving an invitation to the next.
I look forward to it. Thank you very much.
Excellent. I think that answers that one then. Thank you, Councillor Price.
All right.
Yeah.
So then, we can move on to item number 12, to consider the schedule of payments, please. And if you have those up.
Yes, absolutely.
You should have received these, and they should have already sent in any queries or questions.
Yes, I didn't have any questions in advance of them. I was slightly too zoomed in.
So, could you please remind me, is this just for noting?
So no, this is for an I will suffice in terms of signing.
Yeah.
2 members sign this, Your Worship, so it's generally yourself and the deputy, but other members can sign it in either of your absence. So this is to go through and accept I will suffice, and then I believe you have a copy to sign. If you do not have a copy to sign, the I will suffice will stand anyway, and we can sign it after the meeting. But that looks like the one to sign. Excellent.
Okay, thank you very much. So it's up on the board. Okay, councillors, I will shall suffice that we accept this schedule of payments for May 2026. Thank you. As I know. Okay.
Thank you, Your Worship.
So now, item number 13, to consider motions from councillors. And this is a motion that I put forward for myself, seconded by Councillor Fandy, now Mayor. And the motion is, this council resolves to consider debating items raised at public participation at the following meeting of full council and or at the relevant committee as appropriate, and then provide a response to the speaker. So this, as Councillor Bandy referred to earlier, has come about from feedback from members of the community, specifically at the annual town meeting. There was a discussion about how members of the public were feeling that they were coming to public participation, and because of our standing orders and how we manage public participation, it sometimes felt members of the public feeling like they weren't necessarily being heard, and also people were wondering where those items that had been raised were then passed to and what was happening. So my feeling was that we haven't necessarily been very good at making sure that we are looking at those items that are raised and considering whether they are relevant for the town council to debate either at full council or at a relevant committee, and I thought it would be helpful for us to actually have a motion for that. So I don't know if you want to say anything about that, Councillor Sandy.
I agree with everything the Mayor has said.
So, is there anybody who would like to speak against?
I'm not going to speak against, but I want to kind of maybe add an amendment to it. My concern is that this doesn't really address the issue which we've had on many occasions when people come here and basically unloaded themselves, often about things which are completely irrelevant to the town council. We cannot sort out Gaza or get rid of 5G because we're only a parish level council. That's the bottom line. And whilst, God forbid, I should give more work to those poor souls who work in the office downstairs, I do think that when people come in with a thing they want, I think they call them questions, so they're often not their statements, that perhaps we should add to the beginning of this, people wishing to raise issues or questions in public participation should be advised as to the relevance in relation to the work of the council and which committees they will be addressed by. Because if someone says, I want to come in and read my poems, and we've had you, there's nothing we can do about it. It's not very nice, but you know, it's not something that we can address in that way. I mean, we've got time and everyone, you know, that's fine. If they want an answer, then I think you've got to say, you know, I'm sorry, but that's a job for highways, or that's a job for Somerset. I'm sick to death of hearing about the stuff that Somerset should be doing in this venue. So that's all I was going to suggest, that we put a line on the front of it, saying that the thing's got to be relevant to the various committees of the council.
Okay, thank you for your reflections, Councillor Osborne. Councillor Cousins, did you want to speak to that?
Well, I think that Councillor Osborne's amendment is commendable. I also think that perhaps if we are going to amend it, we ought to say that perhaps the council could signpost to those appropriate bodies too within the motion, so that you know, it's clear, as you say, when people come, sometimes it is actually a county issue or highways issue or police issue or some other authority, might even be suitable for the MP to consider. And we, as a council, I think should respond to the speaker when we can to outline that signposting as well, which I think is very relevant. But we happy to support the amendment with that sort of proviso as well.
Okay, thank you for your reflections. Councillor Henderson.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, fully back what Councillor Osborne and Johnson has said. I see that the response will come from either the full council or the relevant committee. So, wondering whether some of the questions may be brought to that particular committee, because obviously these meetings are public meetings. So, if somebody comes to the talk or the office with a question which pertains to property and assets, for instance, should the question be brought to property and assets rather than the full council and then go to property and assets for an answer?
Yeah, that's so the wording is at a following meeting with full council and or the relevant committee. So it might not always be relevant to come to full council. It may be more relevant to go to the relevant.
My feeling is that every councillor sat around this table is involved in one of the committees. So we would all hear, wouldn't we, the point that's being raised. And then it would be, if that was for an appropriate committee, say it was something to do with planning, say it was something to do with youth, that could then go to the appropriate committee. And we would have all heard it in this place.
Okay, so Councillor Osborne has proposed an amendment. Councillor Higgins has seconded that. Is there anybody who wishes to speak against that? Oh.
Could I just check? So
yes.
If Councillor Osborne is proposing an amendment, could I please take the wording that Councillor Osborne is proposing to amend the motion to?
Okay. People wishing to raise issues or questions in public participation should be advised, dare I say it, by Town Hall staff as to the relevance in relation to the work of the council. And then I think that, and where, if it's not relevant to the council,
Signpost to the appropriate body.
Okay. So how does that run into?
So is that amendment being inserted
At the front?
at the beginning as an additional sentence? Okay.
I think I don't want to speak against the motion, but I'd like to keep an open door for people to come here, 5 people each, full council, and kind of talk to us about whatever they want. I totally agree with you that a lot of it might be irrelevant or a little bit whimsical or not, but I'd be sorry to kind of close the door on them. But I fully agree that any response we get would include an element of education about where they could more profitably go to help their issue.
Right to reply, sorry, reply. And if needed, we could always set up a poetry consideration.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I mean, I'm fascinated by the World War II storybook lady.
Mary
Yes,
Harris.
yes, that one. Also the poems, also the various dance groups or whatever, I think that would, I think they're trying to go by our station really, and we should be really listening to everybody, all the time, without being specific.
So can I just say, for clarification, I would not want us to be saying to people that they could not speak to us because it wasn't relevant to the council.
No.
People can come at public participation, speak to us about whatever they want.
Good, yeah, so as long as that stays the same.
Yeah, I think that's what
they won't necessarily get an answer back if it's not, we're not poetry people.
But it sounds, so can I just for clarification, are you saying that when people ask to speak, they will be advised at that point whether it's relating to business of the council, they can still speak, but they will be advised at that point, and then if they do come and speak, we would then be able to make a decision about which committee it would go to or which organisation, for example, people might sign
that would be done before it gets to here. It's done in the office. When somebody comes in and says, I want to say, I don't know, I will raise the issue of Gaza. I mean, we cannot stop the PDF here, and anyway, they're not attacking us. But we could say to them, well, what we could do is take the property and asset and finance and say that this council will not buy Israeli-made goods. You see what I mean? You actually bring it down to something we can do, rather than...
What we could do is we could speak to a member of the public and explain that, and they could still come and speak at public participation about, for example, Gaza if they wish to, but then we may then be able to do something practical about that, perhaps.
We told beforehand that, actually, in reality, we would suggest that in terms of the question mode, you reduce it down to, you can talk what you like in 3 minutes, but the only thing you're going to really get an answer on is something that we can actually do.
So we could clarify that in the information that we give people when they
ask. So if I could just add, Your Worship, my understanding would be from an officer point of view in terms of management of it, that at the point or soon after when someone books a public participation slot, they are advised as to the relevance of that matter for the town council or not. They are still able to then come and speak whatever the topic is, as long as obviously what they are addressing the council with is lawful. But that may save them coming out on a Tuesday evening and addressing the council when they don't at that point understand that it's not a matter of relevance here, or they may think, I shall attend on another evening to a more relevant committee and address that committee, but at no point would anyone be told that's not relevant for full council, you can't address it. What I'm reading is that we would be upfront, advise and signpost, and if that person chose to speak at another time or not to speak at all, that's their choice. However, they are still at liberty to address the council should they wish to.
Thank you for those clarifications. So Councillor Henderson's got his hand up. Councillor Manning first.
Okay, I just wanted to say that there's been situations where people have spoken to council and there has been almost like consensus and support for the council of what that person's saying, but obviously we can't talk about it or make a decision about it on that particular evening. But what I just wondered was that one thing we could do is that we could decide that not only should that person come on, or rather than that person coming on to a committee meeting to present it again, we could decide on that particular evening that that item should go on the agenda of the next committee meeting of that particular.
That's right. That was the intention behind this proposal, is that it would be noted on the clerk's minutes and actions, and then myself and Councillor Bandu meet with the clerk once a month to talk about agenda items, and that is where we would ensure that anything from a previous meeting was fed into the correct committee or consider whether it was appropriate for the council. So, okay, Councillor Henderson.
Yeah, quick one. I think this proposal is only to deal with questions that come to the council. It's not going to stop every encouraging along. Heather Hall can talk about the cricket club. People reading poems, that would still be accepted, but it obviously wouldn't be needed to be taken any further. That's just information for the general.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, Councillor Smythe.
Thank you, Your Worship. I suggest that there should be a caveat of common sense, obviously should prevail, and that it's only put on the agenda of the next suitable committee if there is room, if there's time, and if it is on priority. Because there will be some instances when we won't have time and it might not be priority.
Thank you, Councillor President.
Your Worship, an amendment has been tabled and seconded, and wording is, I would urge you to move to vote, and I think that the operative word there is a, and it doesn't say next anyway.
No, it does not. Okay, so all those in favour of accepting the amended proposal? Okay, that actually looks unanimous.
Thank you. So that becomes the substantive. You now need to vote again.
We now need to vote on the substantive. So do we need you to read it?
I was going to re-watch the recording to get Councillor Osborne's exact wording because I can't write that quickly. But essentially the sentiment of it is that when people book or express an interest to book a public participation slot at that time or soon after, they're advised as to the relevance of that item in terms of the business of the council or its committees, and they're signposted to other relevant agencies, organisations or another committee meeting, and then it's up to them whether they still wish to address full council or may wish to take that to a committee or indeed to another more responsible body. But in terms of that's not Councillor Osborne's exact wording, that's the sentiment. I'll get the wording from the recording, but that is the sentiment of what you've now agreed as a substantive. It hasn't changed since you just agreed the amendment, so I'm hoping the vote's going to be the same. But process, you agree on the amendment, then it becomes a substantive, you have to agree the substantive.
Alright, so everybody around the table is all nodding their heads, so all those in favour? And that is again unanimous, thank you.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay, so I believe we have another motion proposed by Councillor Bundy. Would you like to read your proposal and tell us about it, please?
Yes, thank you. So I imagine most of us. I'm
so sorry. You know, there's been a further email. You've seen that?
Further email?
Yes.
Oh,
so,
actually, yeah, could you?
Somebody has actually got it in front, but Chloe from Mental Health Network has actually, maybe it was today, but she's emailed to say that they have actually received an award of £4,000, so they'd like to withdraw the request, but they would like a little cheeky if they can actually ask if we can reduce the call hire fee for the atrium, but I'm not sure we can actually discuss that today, but that's the body of the email anyway.
In which case, Councillor Bundy, would you like to withdraw your motion?
So, could I? So, it would need to be withdrawn by the seconder and then the proposer.
Oh.
You do it in that order.
Okay, so Councillor Bundy.
I'm quite happy to do that. I'm also happy to share the email I've got from the GP.
Okay.
Yes, I'm happy to do it.
Okay, and then sorry, do you then Councillor Bundy need to confirm with?
I'm happy to withdraw it too. Yes, I apologise for not seeing my emails in time.
Okay, and is that is now withdrawn? Do we need to do
No,
anything?
we don't need to do anything else. The seconder and proposer have withdrawn it, so it's now no longer proverbially on the table.
Okay, alright, thank you. And then the point that you raised has to come back to either the correct committee or yes, thank you.
Fabulous, yes. Everyone should have received the email.
Okay. Thank you very much. Alright then, so that looks like we can move on to item 15 to note the resolutions of delegated committees. And these will be up on the board and
They shall.
Circulated in advance, so hopefully councillors have already seen these and
They are only for noting as they are decisions of suitably delegated committees.
okay.
Would you go a bit slower, please? What dog food stickers?
You know, like when you go around by St John's, and they had like the little ones from the children had done. Please ask your dogs not to be really good when they go to school. And then I think one of the organisations that was, had some like printed ones on one of them, so they've got these project.
Okay, I'm not sure what page we're on now.
You're not putting the stickers on the dog food.
Oh, that's the end of it,
Is
Your
that the
Worship.
end? Okay, so councillors I will suffice, is it?
Yeah, it's only for noting.
Point of order is that item 2 goes, and that's something that the council needs to consider from services youth and operations.
I read that as a decision of the Services, Youth, Provision and Operations Committee. I didn't read it as a proposed to recommend to full council. And anyway, that to me is a matter that falls underneath the Services, Youth, Provision and Operations Committee, because within its terms of reference, it considers St Dunstan's House Community Health and Wellbeing Centre. If you're telling me that I'm wrong, but that's how I read that as a decision of that committee, and I didn't consider it an ultra vires decision because it sits within its terms of reference.
Make its own decisions, yeah?
Yeah, because that committee has within its terms of reference can make decisions over St Dunstan's House Community Health and Wellbeing Centre, and that's what that decision relates to.
Yes.
I totally understand the reasoning and rationale of the bar, but feel that it's such a strong delegation that perhaps it should be ratified by full council.
Absolutely, full council can ratify it if it wishes.
So, Councillor Rooney, did you want to speak to this?
No, I was speaking to point 1.
Okay, should we deal with this
Deal
one
with point 2 first,
Yeah.
and then go back
So
to
if I can have a proposer and a seconder that full council ratifies that decision of the committee, and then a vote, that would be appreciated.
So Councillor Cousins has proposed, Councillor White has seconded. Anybody wish to speak against? All those in favour? I think that is unanimous.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then Councillor.
Yes, with point 1, my proposal was the clear signage for Glastonbury Information Centre, which had been requested by people who work there, but also that there's clear signage from the left luggage lockers, which have no signage at present. And so people coming off of buses with their heavy suitcases can't see and don't know that there are the left luggage lockers there. And I've been asking for this for about 4 years now. And it would be really nice if that could be installed in those minutes correctly. That it's clear signage for the Glastonbury Information Centre and for the left luggage lockers.
Okay, the accuracy of minutes will be for that committee at its next meeting, but I've noted it that the left luggage lockers needs to be added into that.
Okay.
And then the committee at its next meeting will need to decide where the money for that is coming from, but that's for the next committee meeting.
Councillor Henderson.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, just a sort of addendum to item 1. Working in the shop, you get quite a lot of tourists who come and ask for information, what have you, and they're quite often looking for the Tourist Information Centre. And when I direct them over here to the GIC, they find that quite confusing. So I think if you're going to put signage to the place, it has to say Glastonbury Information Centre, not just GIC, because people look for the TIC signage. And if we're going to go down the route where we're not going to call it TIC, we've definitely got to make it clear what it actually is and where it is. Absolutely.
Yeah, so can I just be clear, on all of the signage we use the italic I, which is the international symbol for information, and it is always Glastonbury Information Centre. I never put GIC on the signage because that doesn't mean anything to someone who's visiting.
So does that need to go back to that committee for when we're talking about the funding for the extra signage?
It will do, yeah, so that will go to its next committee meeting. I am in the process of designing some additional signage for down pavement side on Magdalen Street, but of course you will appreciate with St Dunstan's House being a Grade 2 listed building, I can't go and put loads of signage on the building, so we are quite limited, but I am in the process of designing signage for pavement side and for underneath the veranda on the side as well, so I can certainly include the left luggage lockers, for example, within that, but that will be a matter for the next committee meeting of services.
Okay, Councillor.
My query with regard to section C5 of this, which is a report of the planning committee. It's because these minutes haven't been approved by the planning committee, but I actually abstained because I've got an interest, so I abstained on C5. But we haven't obviously ratified the minutes, so
yeah.
Does that need to be added to these, or is that just the noting?
It doesn't need to be added to these but it will be fed into the clerk of that committee to change them for the next committee meeting, and the set that go into this set of minutes will be the updated.
Okay. All right. So, councillors, I will suffice that we are accepting these.
Right,
thank you. Okay, so item number 16, to receive updates from advisory committees and consider recommendations for decision. Again, these have been circulated and hopefully councillors can look. Sorry, I'm struggling to see that.
Oh, sorry. So I was just understanding them myself.
Yeah.
So the first item is Climate and Ecological Emergency Advisory Committee. So the advisory committee have decided that they wish to contribute £300 to the bus. I presume that's the Somerset Bus Partnership toward the cost of printing bus timetables. I presume that's within their budget, but I would have to check.
So we looked at what was left in this year's budget, and the £300 was going to be within
So last year's budget, you mean? Last financial year.
Year's budget. And so that was why we agreed that we would give that for last year's budget. The next one, the recommendation about the Louis Group, that was a different thing altogether. And that was going to, I'm not sure, Michael Smythe, maybe you can speak to where that money was going to come from.
Yeah.
So I've forgotten about that. And then the final one about the repairing of the water fountains is at the moment they work on an electrical system which never works. It's been bad right from the time when they were installed, and we proposed that rather than being repaired, what we actually proposed was that the simple mechanical way you press a button and the water comes out, you know, a simple mechanical one gets put in, which isn't going to forever be non-functioning, particularly with the hot and dry summers we're having. It feels really important that visitors to the town have a source of water. So that's what we recommended, that actually we don't repair them, we put in new mechanical ones and so those recommendations. The first one was within our budget, second one Michael needs to speak to, and the third one is slightly incorrect.
Okay, so the first one is already dealt with.
No, I need a proposer and a seconder for that.
Okay, so a seconder for the resolution that £300 is contributed to the bus partnership.
Proposal.
So, Councillor, will you do proposing that? Councillor Johnson, seconding.
Seconding.
Anybody wish to speak against? All those in favour? That's unanimous. Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry?
I said thank you.
Second recommendation, Councillor Smythe, do you wish to speak to this?
Yeah. Since the meeting, we've had interviews with various other councils in the southwest, and we're reviewing and exploring other fundraising possibilities. So I think we'll revisit this recommendation in about 2 months' time, because it may be that we can reduce that amount and find funding from elsewhere. So it will be hopefully a reduced amount. Okay.
Okay, so that's something to carry over to
Yeah,
the
we can
meeting. So that's
revisit the next CF meeting and then come again this meeting.
So it's withdrawn for consideration at this time?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah?
And just speaking about it, if it does come back, I think I personally welcome more context and detail as to why you're proposing this. Because it will be this meeting making a decision to spend £20,000, and I think it needs more than just one line from another committee, which you must have, because you must have considered it at that committee. Maybe it could be further away. That's why we're waiting for this time.
Thank you.
Lots to say next time.
Alright, so then the final recommendation is...
So would you like the words?
Well, I've already added it as a future agenda item for property and assets. It's already a future agenda item for property and
So this is
assets.
for the fountain?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
So I've already dealt with that one.
Right, perfect.
So,
Councillor Cameron.
On the wood fountain, I think there is a charge with regard to environmental health checking with public water fountains, and we have to deal with the cost of that.
Could we put that down for the committee to...
Yeah, we already do that, so yes.
Okay, right. Alright, and that looks like that was it for recommendations. Okay. Thank you very much. So, item number 17, to receive unitary councillor reports. Thank you, Councillor Cameron.
Your Honour, councillors, I'm not going to add anything to your report, it's already well noted on. I would just like to publicly state that we did get rid of the big flight, and that was led by Andy Denham and his family, as everybody knows. And I would just like to publicly say thank you to him and everybody else who then supported it. I know that I'm not allowed to make recommendations for a vote or anything like that. I just wonder whether Councillor McAvandy might want to make a sort of suggestion to the council of us saying thank you to Andy Denham and his family for coordinating.
Well, I'd be happy to suggest that we give thanks to Andy Denham and his family. I think that's okay. So yes, there are a couple of things I would like to announce and make you aware of. And the first one is, as I spoke about briefly earlier, that the Cooperative Councils Innovation Network that we've made an application to join. We held a meeting yesterday and have decided that we would like to have an information day on the 23rd of June, which will be between 4 and 8 p.m, which is during Cooperative Fortnight. So I would really encourage councillors, members of the public, community groups, local organisations to come along to that open afternoon and find out more about what it means to be a cooperative council and how to work together. I would also like to, having been made mayor this evening, thank you very much, I would like to invite any members of the public who would like to come to the civic mayor-making ceremony at St John's Church on Friday the 22nd of May at 2:30. Please be there a bit earlier so we can get everybody in. And then after that mayor-making ceremony in the church, we will be going over to St John's School, where I've been asked to open the school plate. So I warmly invite members of the community to come along if they'd like to. The other thing I just wanted to announce was that I attended a meeting at the Red Brick Building yesterday, their AGM, and I was really pleased to hear about their dedicated tenant recovery team, who are very committed to working through what has happened over the RBD, and that they have plans for their ongoing discussions with Somerset Council. The Red Brick Building is fighting for its survival, its community resource and space, and I fully support that. And yes, just to again agree with Councillor Cameron that there's some fantastic work that's been organised there by members of the community, and that's really appreciated. And then finally, I just wanted to announce how pleased I am that the Glastonbury Town Council Youth Council has recently held its first meeting here in the Council Chamber, and that we had young people from St Dunstan School, and they had a great time getting to know each other, and they are starting the process of formulating their plan for the Youth Council, and I'm really keen to work with the Youth Council to find out how we can support young people in our community and what the issues are that are important to them. So those were my announcements. Thank you very much. And then item number 19, communications and announcements that anybody else might have. No announcements this month, okay? Oh, Councillor Martin, sorry.
Let's have more about Street and Glastonbury Chamber of Commerce. 30th of April, they decided that they were doing more.
Oh, really?
They're one those, well, it's one. It is one. It basically, it was two. About 2 years ago it became one. But they had a number of events, events in town, they were really starting to get involved. People who were running it sort of a bit disillusioned. So at this stage, that's being wound up. Although I have been speaking to a number of shopkeepers, and they appreciate the importance of having a traders association. So there may well be something else sort of spinning up. But it's not the first time it's happened, but we don't have no chamber policy.
Well, thank you for updating us. That's a shame, but it sounds positive that there is something else that might come after that. Councillor Henderson?
Thank you. I'm not sure if Councillors are aware, but Fusion on our leisure facilities have gone into administration starting now. Cameron, you probably helped me out here, but I think some of such councils have taken it on, and I think we're in the process of getting management sort of system going. So as far as I'm aware, I haven't had brief chats with Dr. Taylor, but things are running as normal.
On that, Worship Councillors, the messaging is that Somerset Council are meeting with builders for the next 3 months, exactly as said, trying to find another organisation involved, and the message is continue going, continue paying fees, continue doing your own morning swims, etc., wherever you may go, etc. So please.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor
Your Worship, just to tell councillors that the Step and Thrive project that we are overseeing as the lead council for the LCN is having a Discovering Nature fortnight that begins on the 18th of May and runs for the next 2 weeks with many talks and things which you can find on the website for Step Right and Thrive or on their Facebook, including, which I think will be a quite interesting day, on the 24th, Sunday the 24th of May, when the Avalon Marshall Centres are having an open day for their archaeology sites, including the Long Hall, the Roman Hall and the Roundhouse that they have there. And that is from 10 to 4 on that day, and I think that would be a very interesting thing for councillors to come to. If you would be happy, councillors, to share, those of you who are on Facebook or Instagram, the promotion about this Discovery Nature fortnight, that will be doing not only Step Right and Thrive, a great gesture, but also supporting something that this council is doing as well.
Fantastic, thank you.
I don't know which councillors, but with the open day on the 24th, the Step Right and Thrive Festival will get in the mornings, I believe. It's about 10 to 11. This open day is until 4 o'clock, so we can go on in the morning, but then we'll get back again carrying on.
There is the bus that we're supporting doesn't run on the weekends, but I believe there is special transport arranged, and I think the details of that are on the website.
Fantastic, okay. Any other communications or announcements? No, okay, thank you, councillors. And so item 20, correspondence, please.
We have had a couple of items I wish to bring to the attention of the council, your worship. In your folders, we've had an update about Step Right and Thrive, which Councillor Cousins has to some degree articulated. So please do read that in the online folder for tonight's meeting. But the larger item of correspondence that has also been in the folder, we've received a letter from the Quicksilver Community Group based in Yeovil, who are writing to the council about the closure or proposed closure, I can't quite remember, of the hyperacute stroke unit at Yeovil District Hospital. And they are asking councils in the affected postcodes, which, because we received the letter, we are, to make representation to Somerset NHS Foundation Trust and the Integrated Care Board, the ICB. Now, that is not something that you could consider at tonight's meeting, but I wonder if that might be an item that councillors do some research on, read the letter, and it's considered at a future meeting whether Glastonbury Town Council wishes to make a formal representation on this matter.
I think I'd just like to add to that because it says imminent, if there are any councillors who felt need to directly respond in some way,
yes, absolutely.
do that rather than waiting for the next full-time council meeting.
Yes.
And Emma, sorry, I said your surname for a minute. King, of course. I'm so sorry. That's okay.
Okay, thank you, Worship. First of all, it does actually say 3rd of May 2023 on here. I presume it's actually quite recently.
Yes. Okay. I hadn't noticed that.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm sure some people are really well aware that I've had quite a lot of dealings with the Integrated Care Board and previously the Clinical Commissioning Group when the St Andrews Board in Wales was closed. And I've been to quite a lot of their meetings where the people from this particular campaign group have attended, and they are exceptionally committed to saving this ward, and I applaud them for that. But personally, I feel that they're not going to succeed because it feels very, very much the same way that they behaved towards me when I was trying to save the ward. And I really feel that the way that they see it is that the decision's already been made and it's going to happen. So yeah, by all means do try and support this and do offer your support, but do be aware that I really think the decision's been made and they are not going to change their minds, unfortunately. I also sort of want to say that we are the furthest away from any hospital, I think, pretty much any accident emergency places, pretty much anywhere in the country. And personally, I actually don't think it makes very much difference to us whether we go to Tottenham or Yeovil. And I do think, for us in this particular area, speaking as asking us ourselves, that going a few minutes further to Taunton to a better equipped unit, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. So I would just like to point those two things out. I think that they're doing a fantastic job here, but I really think at the end of the day they're going to be really disappointed as I was after 3 years of campaigning.
Thank you, Councillor King. Yeah, Councillor Osborne.
Yeah, just to, agree with everything you say, actually, it would make that much sense.
It's really sad.
And there's also, there is a strong unit of Southampton Community Hospital.
Right.
Which one?
Is that further away?
Only a little bit.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that information. So, Councillor Cameron.
Your Worship, Cora and I attended the West Mendip Community Neighbourhood Health Working Group, isn't it? Something
Stakeholder Reference Group, very strange name, but yeah, that's what it's called.
It's rather long, but that's where we as a community actually articulate what health needs we need going forward within the NHS 10-year plan. So this could be one of the items, if we wish to, we could raise through that stakeholder grouping. Likewise, the LCN is also plans to articulate the health needs of the LCN community to the ICB as well. So we've got two touch points from a stakeholder reference group perspective on how to articulate the plan. What I would observe is that the NHS, having been a director in the NHS and just come from there, do seek for local towns to articulate what their future health needs are in order to get it right. And I think they've been the first people to suggest that they don't always get it right. So I was just wondering if you do want to feed anything back, those are the two mechanisms we can do it.
Thank you very much. And I wonder if that is something that we do need to think about in the future about how we consult or how we feed into consultation around health needs in our town meetings. Okay. And any other?
Not from me, thank you, Your Worship.
Okay. All right. Item 21, news releases. Do we have anything that's happened that might be worthy of news release? Oh yes.
LJ?
Yeah, we've had a very busy gardening, haven't we?
Well, apparently the local paper has two features on one on Beltane and one on the ground floor. So,
really?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Did we want to make a release about our youth council and the company? Yeah.
What was that suggestion, sorry?
Youth council.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Youth council and the Cooperative Councils Innovation Network. I think it's really for us to.
Do we want to put up the step right in front with the different? I think there's 5 different events. There's 19, 20, 21st, 26, 27, 28. Can we put those?
I can share what Step Ride and Thrive do, yeah.
Perfect. The discoveries the nature coordinate.
Yes.
The Worship, the Cooperative Council, though, would it not be wise to wait until we've actually been formally adopted?
We could say that we've applied, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. We've done a release following the last meeting that we have applied to join, but based on our more detailed meeting, where perhaps we discussed how the council could use some of the tools that are provided by the Innovation Network and how it will shape how we go about making decisions and consult with the community going forward. That, to me, is something that I think is worth sharing. Not only that we've joined, but now how, as a council, are we thinking about using it? So I think that's probably a development.
I think as well, save the date, just for the 20.
Yeah, for the
June. So it's not that far away. That would be helpful for some people. Councillor Cameron.
Your Worship, as you're probably aware, Somerset Council has invested in a new bus link from Glastonbury over to Castle Kerry. It might not be exactly the same as envisaged by our training colleagues, and I'd just like to go on record and say, if it weren't for them, they wouldn't have invested in that bus link.
Should we give them a round of applause?
Yes, sir. I've also observed that of the £800,000 that was allocated above the 4 million that was given to Somerset Council for bus services across the county, this was the only new bus service that they invested in. And so I just wondered, when they do agree the exact route, and I think it's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks, we might want to actually also add that to our news releases as well.
I think that would be really great. Councillor Cameron, would you please advise us when that is agreed, and then we can feed it into our, yeah, thank you very much. Okay, all right then, councillors, where are we? We are at 22, actions arising from the meeting.
Thank you, Worship. So my first action is to do a news release on the new Mayor and Deputy Mayor. I'm going to update the committee memberships and update our internal distribution list, and also understand from Councillor Napper which committees, advisory committees and working groups he wishes to sit on, and I can add him to those as well. Councillor Lokabandu has an action to start preparing the longer list of outside bodies to bring back to a future meeting, not necessarily the next one. I am going to write the Town Deal Board about our representatives. I'm also going to try and contact, or Councillor Cousins and Councillor Cameron might assist me, understanding from the Axon Drew Internal Drainage Board if they wish for a formal representative to be made, or if they're happy with who is already taking part. I've made a start there to... I've written correct committee, but I don't know what that's referring to. That's item 13. So sorry, that is in relation to the wording of the motion and to implement internally a way for us to advise and signpost people to other relevant committees or bodies as appropriate. I will refer to the committee clerks for the Services, Youth Provision and Operations Committee and the Planning Committee to check the wording of their minutes on those 2 points that have been raised. The recommendation regards the money to support testing of the River Brew has been deferred, so I shall note that for a future meeting so it doesn't fall off the list. I will discuss with yourself and Councillor Lokabandu regards to the letter that we've received about the hyperacute stroke unit, and if the Town Council wishes to make a formal representation. Councillors in the meantime are very welcome to make their own individual representations, and the contact details are in the letter that's in your folder for tonight's meeting. And I've also noted the topics for news release that with our new communication support I will work through.
Fantastic. Okay, so item 23, to note the date of the next meeting, which is the 9th of June 2026. And I declare this meeting closed.